Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. And today we will talk about a game that I like to play when I was still a kid, and it was playing cards. So there are lots of playing cards, like the type of playing cards, right? But in this one, we'll talk about specifically the poker card, or the one that has the first one is ace, and then two, and then three, and so on, and the last one is king, right? And yeah, we'll talk about that, and how I made my own game, basically. um because there's some great story also behind that, and yeah, let's just get into it. But first, the playing cards that we are talking about is the regular, uh, you know, ace, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then jack, queen, and king, I think, right? And yeah, there's like 13 cards, right? 13 numbers, or so I would say, and then there are four types of cards, right? Which was the spade, the club, I think, what is called, and then diamond and heart, I think. And yeah, the order, if I remember correctly, the first one is the spade, and then the heart, and then the third one was the club, I think, and then the last one is the diamond, I think. Yeah, it's the black, red, and then black, and then another red, and yeah. But today, we'll talk about making games. If you remember, there's a game called Solitaire, right? And there's lots of solitaire types. Like there's the regular solitaire, and then there's also spider solitaire, which was very difficult. I cannot finish this. I think I managed to finish one, which there was two type, I think, because spider solitaire is basically the same as solitaire, but you need to make those sequence using the same type, right? But like, for example, if it is spade, then the whole thing is spade, right? That's like the easiest difficulty, or the level one, I think. And then the intermediate, there's like the spade and also heart. So the spade can only go to the spade, and then the heart can only go to the heart, and etc. And then the last one, the hardest difficulty, which is four, and or basically the whole deck, right? There's also diamond and club, and yeah, the spade can only go to spade, heart can only go with heart, and then diamond and then club to their own respective type, right? But today we're not talking about spider solitaire, because that's a little bit too complex and it requires more than one deck of cards. So we'll talk about the solitaire itself. Um, so first, let's talk about how solitaire works, right? So basically, solitaire, you will win the game if you can, um, basically put all those cards, all those four types of card, into the assembly point, I would say. I don't know what it's called. From ace to king, um, all must be in sequence. So as ace spade, and then two spade, and then three spade, and then four spade, and then five spade, and etc., until you reach king, right? And this also applies with the other. And um, yeah, that's basically the goal. And but how do we do it, right? So we go to the layout of the game. First, you have the drawing pile of the card, which is the excess cards that is not used in the uh, you know in the main game. And then this one is the assembly point. There's four of them for each type. and then the next is the whole the basically the main board, I would say. And then this one consists of um rows of cards, right? But it's ascending, so at first row there's only one card uh, face side up, right? And then the second row there's two cards, but the first card is closed down, and then the second card is up, right? And then the third one has also three. The two cards are facing down, and then the three cards facing up, right? Until we have, I think, until there is the seventh row, which has six cards facing down, and then the next card is facing up, right? And yeah, that's basically the whole main put, I think. I honestly don't know if there can be variations of rows, like for example, there be possible if there's like 8 rows or only 5 rows or even 4 rows and etc etc, right? By rows I mean column. I always keep forgetting which one is column and which one is row. So yeah, I think the down one is column, right? So yeah, there's like many columns, right? And yeah, so that's basically it. The last card in each column is facing up, so that's like the opening card, and that's the only usable cards among them, right? And so basically you use those cards that's facing up, if my pen can do. And yeah, so there's like, in this case there's like seven, right? Seven columns. So yeah, let's make that seven. All of this facing up, right? At the very bottom of each column, right? Every card is going up. So for example, this one is ace, and then this one is 9, 8, 4, and then another 4, and then 7 and 3. And the goal is basically you put you find the lowest number, which was this one, the ace, and then you put it in the assembly point, right? It must start with ace, so you can only put ace at here at the first. And then once this is gone, then the next card will be refilled. But in this case, because this is the first row, so this is become empty column basically. And then because this is 8 and then this is 9, so you can stack this on top of this one, refilling the second card behind this one, right? So this one become the card right after this one gets up, faced up, and then this one goes here, right? 8, so it's stacked, right? And so on and so on. You put the 7 over here, and then you put the 3 into the 4, refilling the next card, right? And then for example you find another ace, so you put that ace over here then. And yeah, and then basically filling all of these in sequence so that you can reach to king. And then uh, not only that, there's also the rest of the cards that are not set up in the main card pile, right? So that goes to the drawing pile, and then you open one by one, and like for instance, there's like multiple of these cards, right? There's basically the rest of the card that is not used. And you open one, and then maybe it reveals a king, so you don't use that because that's a little bit too high, right? That's like basically the last card needed to be placed in the assembly assembly square, right? And then you open another one, revealing that it's a 7. Might be you might use this later on in the down below in the main card. And then revealing another one, and then you maybe find an ace, and then you put that ace over here, and so on, right? And yeah, so that's basically the game, the whole game. There is like 7 column, like I said, 5, 6, 7 going down, right? There's 7 column. Um, you can use all those cards in this column. Like for instance, if the first row is clear, you can put anything here. any card here and then refilling this one, right? So it's like strategy. You want to put a high number in the empty row because so that you can start piling down in sequence, right? Like for instance, I put 10 over here, then the next card is apparently 9, so I can then stack on top of that, and then I can assembly 8 maybe from here, and then 8, and then 7, and so on and so on, right? Um, so that I have this sequence, I also refilling all the other cards that is hidden in the column, right? So the more I refill the cards, the more I'm getting closer to refilling all the small numbers that can go here. Like for instance, this one already have 7. It means that the next card will be 8, right? And so on and so on. And yeah, that's basically it for the game. And what I'm trying to do here is like I said, when I was kid, I play with my computer, right? My mom's computer, because she was in like college, I think, as a teacher, and then basically she used the computer and with the CPU, the big, very big CPU, right? And she just do it for work, right? But when she's not doing it, and every weekend I always play the game over there with the mouse, and just play it and find anything that I can, right? Because like what games can exist back then, right? There's but fortunately for me, there's lots of games in the computer or in the PC, I think. Or so I would say, because it's not in the monitor, it's in this one, in the CPU or the PC, I would say. But yeah, and one of them is the Solitaire, right? And I tried playing this, and I'm actually kind of addicted to it. It's just fun to have that strategy game about cards. It's very simple, right? Basically, you only need to make sequence of cards from ace to king, basically, and that's it. And it's very easy, right? It's also very quick. And so one day, I was kinda so I think the computer broke or something like that, so I cannot play this ever again, right? um and I just had idea, right? What about I'm uh, picking up the real playing card, one deck of playing card, and make that whole game by myself, because you can do this by yourself, right? Basically, and yeah, so I did that. I grabbed a playing card where there was one to be happening to laying around in the house, so I grabbed that, and I start shuffling the whole deck, and then I set up the main card. So I don't remember how many cards or columns that I did, but for sure I did the same thing, which is the first card is always open. The second row there is two cards, one facing down, one facing up, and then just basically just like that. This one there is two facing down, and then there is the most bottom one is facing up, and then so on and so on. I didn't remember how many of that, and I just basically design all of this by myself, and then I shuffle the rest of the deck that is not used into the drawing pile, right? So the drawing pile is basically the free cards, right? Cards that I can use, right? And it's like free, so the more the cards in the drawing pile, it becomes easier, right? Because you only need to find very few, you need only to refill very few cards in the main card setup, right? And because all of this in the drawing pile is already refilled, so yeah. So I tried this, and I'm actually enjoying it. At that time I was actually enjoying it, so I would say. And you know yeah, it's just fun that we can actually make online, not online, make digital games become offline, and people call this, I think, board game, right? There's like lots of them, right? And I think this one can be one of these actually, because it's basically games that is played on board, right, or on table basically. Because you know, there you can touch it, right? You can read it, you can touch it, you can do something with it, right? And in this one I can read the numbers, I can touch the cards, and then I can do the shuffling and then setting up all these game basically. And yeah, so that's how, I guess that's how to do um playing card game, in as offline game or board game, I suppose. Yeah, like do it yourself solitaire, right? I think that will be the title of this video, I suppose. DIY solitaire. And yeah, I guess that will be it for today's discussion. And yeah, a little bit of tutorial how to play the game or how to play the solitaire, and then how to set up this, because your game, your rule, right, basically. So you can change the rules if you want stuff to be more challenging, or you can also just make easy so that you can do it multiple times, right? Because you can complete the game within very few minutes, and then you can start another one, right? But yeah, anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you again tomorrow with another discussion, and goodbye.